and in this video, I'm not just going to tell you what I learned in organizational behavior. I'm going to show you how each chapter connected to something I actually lived through, because that's what makes this subject different. Chapter 1 introduces us to the field of organizational behavior, or OB for short. OB is the study of how individuals, groups, and structures influence and shape behavior within an organization. It looks at three levels: the individuals, the group, and the organization as a whole. One of the key ideas in this chapter is that human behavior in any setting is not random. It follows patterns, and understanding those patterns help us become better teammates, better leaders, and better communicators. Another important concept is emotional contagion idea, that emotions are contagious within a group. When I first read this, I immediately thought of myself. I am someone who absorbs the energy of the people around me very easily. If a friend next to me is stressed, I start feeling stressed too, even if nothing happened to me. If everything around me is happy and relaxed, I instantly feel lighter. But what really surprised me was realizing that I affect others too. Because of my serious facial expression, people around me tend to go quiet when I'm quiet. If I seem tense, the whole room feels tense. Without saying a single word, my presence alone can change the atmosphere. This was a wake-up call for me. It reminded me that in any group or organization, every single person, even the quiet ones, contributes to the environment around them. We are all responsible for the energy we bring into a room. Chapter 2 explore attitude and job satisfaction. Attitude refers to our evaluative statement, positive or negative, toward people, objects, or situation. Important concept from this chapter is cognitive dissonance. Discomfort or tension we feel when our actions are inconsistent with our values or beliefs. When these tensions become strong enough, we are motivated to change our attitude or behavior in order to restore balance. Another concept is how attitude is shaped by observation. We often adjust how we feel about something based on what we see others doing around us, especially people we admire or respect. This brings me to a very personal story. One afternoon at home, I had no motivation to do household chores. I kept telling myself I was tired. I will do it later. Every excuse was ready, but then I looked at my mother. She was cleaning, the same way she does every single day. No complaints, no sulks, just quietly doing what needed to be done with passion and love. Here I was, young, healthy, with far fewer responsibilities, refusing to pick up a broom, while she, who carries so much more than me, never once stopped. That feeling? That was cognitive dissonance. Beyond that, I also noticed something else about my attitude. I sometimes change my stance on things, not because I'm actually wrong, but because I lack confidence in my own judgment. Someone pushed back and I fold. This chapter reminded me that a strong, grounded attitude means learning to trust yourself, even when others doubt you. Chapter 3 is about personality and values. Personality refers to the consistent patterns of behavior, thought, and emotion that make each person unique. One widely used framework is the Big Five model, which measures 5 dimensions: openness, conscientiousness, extraversion, agreeableness, and emotional stability. Values, on the other hand, are our fundamental belief about what is important in life. They guide our choice, our priorities, and the way we treat others. Now connecting this to my own life, I am an introvert. I recharge through alone time. I observe before I open up, and I rarely feel comfortable in loud social settings. In the Big Five, I would say I score high on agreeableness. I genuinely care about the people around me, but my conscientiousness varies. I am most productive when I feel emotionally settled, and my mood plays a big role in how disciplined I am. I also make decisions with my heart more than my head. Feelings and intuition lead, logic follows. When it comes to values, family, honesty, hard work, and loyalty are the things I hold closest. But I have to be honest about something. There were moments in my life where I acted against those values, not by choice, but because of pressure and circumstance. There were times I saw something unfair happening and I said nothing. Times I went along with decisions I didn't agree with just to avoid conflict. And every single time I felt this quiet guilt sitting in my chest afterward. Chapter 3 helped me understand why. Because acting against your values, even for seemingly harmless reasons, creates internal conflict. It slowly chips away at who you are. The lesson I took from this chapter is simple but powerful. Knowing your values is only the first step. The harder, more important step is being brave enough to live by them. Chapter 4 covers perception and individual decision making. Perception is the process through which we select, organize, and interpret information to create a meaningful picture of the world around us. But here's the critical part. Our perception is not always accurate. It is filtered through our past experiences, our emotions, and our cognitive biases. Two important concepts from this chapter are the horn effect, where one negative trait or impression leads us to view everything about a person negatively, and fundamental attribution error, where we overestimate personality as the cause of someone's behavior and underestimate the situation they are in. When it comes to decision making, the chapter introduces bounded rationality, the idea that humans do not always make perfectly rational decisions. We are limited by the information available to us, the time we have, and the emotion we are feeling in the moment. Now I want to tell you a story. When I first met my roommate, I thought she was arrogant. She barely talked, she kept to herself. She walked past me without much expression, rarely smiled, and I had already, within the first few days, decided who she was. I was wrong, completely wrong. As weeks passed and we slowly got to know each other, I discovered that she wasn't arrogant at all. She was introvert. She was going through personal challenges that I knew nothing about. She was actually one of the most genuine and caring people I have ever met. But I almost missed that because of a first impression built on almost nothing. That is the horn effect in action. I took one trait, her quietness, and used it to paint her entire personality. And here's the irony. People do the exact same things to me because I have a serious face and I am quiet around people I don't know yet. Many people assume I am cold, unfriendly, or arrogant, but that is really not who I am. That is simply how I am when I in an unfamiliar environment. That is fundamental attribution error, judging my character based on my behavior without considering the situation I was in. And when it comes to decision making, I have made rash decisions I deeply regret, acting on impulse, on emotion, without properly thinking through the consequences. That is bounded rationality. And finally, Chapter 5, Motivation. This chapter explores what drives human behavior, what pushes us to act, to persist, and to keep going even when things get hard. One of the most well-known theories covered is Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which suggests that human motivation operates in levels from basic physiological needs like food and shelter, all the way up to self-actualization, the desire to reach your full potential and live a meaningful life. And when I ask myself what truly motivates me, the answer is my parents. They have sacrificed so much to give me the opportunities I have today, things I probably don't even fully know or understand. Every time university gets difficult, every time I feel like giving up, I think of them. And something inside me refuses to quit. I don't just want to succeed for myself, I want to prove to myself that their sacrifice were worth it. And there was one person, a very close friend, who would call me when I was at my absolute lowest. He didn't just comfort me, he asked me a question. Why did you start this in the first place? Don't forget your intention. That one question, every single time, brought me back. And I think that is the most important thing Chapter 5 taught me. Motivation is not always something you find alone inside yourself. Sometimes it lives in the people who believe in you. So that is my reflection. 5 chapters, 5 windows into my own life. What I love most about organizational behavior is that it doesn't ask you to be a different person. It asks you to understand the person you already are, your patterns, your biases, your values, your drive. Because when you understand yourself, you can show up better for your team, for your organization, and most importantly, for the people you love. I'm still learning, I'm still growing, but awareness, I've come to believe. It's always the first step. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!